Hi everybody, this is Kimberly from Kimberly Kline Design, where I create pretty printable papers and kits so that you can start crafting today. Now I got it into my imagination that I wanted to create a vintagey junk journal with a lock on it, like a diary. I found this piece of dusty blue suede from the leather section at Michael's, and I also found a really pretty piece of agate in the jewelry section that was on clearance. And I found these vintage style locks on Amazon. They do come in a pack of 3 with the keys, and I'll leave a link below. Now I usually cut my Amazon boxes up for covers, but this time I wanted to try something a little different. So in the scrapbook section at Michael's, I found some chipboard by Recollections. It's sturdy enough to hold a lock, and I could still cut through it. And for this project, I chose to use my French blue and vintage lined and unlined papers from my Etsy shop. I'll be sure to leave a link below. So with my papers, after you print them out, all you have to do is fold them in half and you have 2 pages. The chipboard was 12 by 12, so I cut out an 8.5 by 11 piece and folded it in half as well. It folded nicely, and I was really happy with how it didn't buckle whenever I put the Mod Podge on to glue my covers down. I secured the front cover and the back cover to the chipboard with Mod Podge, and I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch it dry. All done, now I'm just going to trim this overage. So for the inside of the cover, I chose to use the same pages that I did on the outside, only I flipped them around and put the flowers in the front. I tore the pages in half because I wanted to leave the spine free for when we insert the journal pages. And here we go. We have the outside and the inside of the cover ready for the pages. Now don't worry if you can see a little bit of the edge showing through with the chipboard. We're going to cover those up with walnut ink later. Here are my stack of papers that I've printed out. Now I have a really old Epson Workforce printer. I mean, this thing is ancient, but it works and I still love it. However, it prints a white border out on everything. There's no way to fix that. I know a lot of you out there do have old printers that do the same thing. Don't worry about it. I just cut them right off. Now to create the pages for the inside, I'll take 2 of them that I think kind of go together, fold them, and score them. I had to be sure that I put the pages in correctly so that one wasn't upside down and the other one right side up. Now I'm going to start tearing the edges for a worn vintagey look, and I like to use a ruler for this. It really helps. If you tried to put the pages in right now into your cover without tearing the edges, it hangs out a little bit. That's okay, some people like that. I just like the torn look. And now I'm going to start gluing those pages together. I have all my pages ready, ripped, glued together, and I've already put the ink on them. Now I'm going back to the cover and I'm going to put some distress ink on that as well. And there I have it. I always tend to go overboard with distress ink. This time was no exception, but that's okay. I think that's what I love the most about junk journaling is it doesn't have to be perfect. And now it's time to insert the pages into my journal. Now there are a million different ways that you can do this. You can use an elastic to put your signatures in to be held that way. You can stitch them in with a heavy thread. I like the good old-fashioned stapler. I think I like it because it's quick, it's easy. but I do need to have a long arm stapler for this. So what I'm going to do next is take 3 of my folded and scored pages, tuck them in together, and then I'm going to fit them snugly into the spine of the cover so that it fits in there really nice and tight before I put a staple into it. Now I do 3 at a time so that I can be sure the staples go through, because I wasn't real sure how the staples would go through using this chipboard for the first time, but it did really, really well. Now, through some experimentation with this, I found that after you make sure that your paper is in there nice and snug and it fits into the cover the way that you want it to, flip it over and staple from the outside. I found that I can see what I'm doing much better and the staples went in straight. And don't worry if a staple goes in crooked. All you do is take it out and try it again. So I just repeat this process with all the pages that I want to fill this journal with. And yes, there are some staples sticking out on the outside, but remember, we're going to cover those up with that blue piece of suede. So next I cut a strip of that dusty blue suede, long enough to go from the back around to the front. And then I hot glued the back piece of it on. And then I took what was left and measured it to go around the spine. Now with this, I wish I would have left a little bit more around the front. I think it would have looked better, but it covers the staples and it covers the part where you put the strip on. Now once that was on and secure, I took that little pendant, and remember I found that on the clearance rack. I think it was like 59 cents or something, but it was so pretty, and I just measured out where it would fall with the strap coming around so that it would all line up. The only thing I had left to do was just to take my X-Acto knife and I just put a little tiny slit into the strap so that it went right over the bail where normally the pendant would hang off of a chain. And as you can see, it fit perfectly. The last thing to do was put the lock on.